We are back in black in the building. What is going on? What is going on? This is your boy Warren G, the place we've been clown sucker free since 2003. I got my boy Nick in the building again. If the stream is fucked up, then I don't know what to fucking tell y'all. But we recording this shit too, so don't get it twisted. But anyway, you already know what it is. We are back, black, melanated, and highly favored in the building. Make sure you go out and support black businesses if you can. Me and Nick have already talked about going to Annie's and going to get us some nice barbecue, because I believe if I'm going to get killed by fast food or toxic food, I want it to be from my own people. So shout out to everybody that's out there that's handling business and doing what the fuck they need to do to survive. Shout out to everybody out there that's at the core Plantation. You already know what it is. Like I said again, if the shit is tripping, I don't know what to tell you. But we are recording this shit, and if I have to, I'll just upload it. But anyway, shout out to everybody that's out there. If you are doing what you need to do and handling business, then shout out to you. Shout out to everybody that's out there that's at home chilling, riding around. There's too many people out here as it is. So we're going to get into it. The topic of the day is the racist judge. So we're going to get into it right now, man. Let me cut this clown ass shit down. Nick, man, what's going on with you, bro?
What's going on, man?
What's going on with you, man?
Same old shit.
Man. So, man, how's your week been, man? How's everything been going for you, man?
Oh, well, on that, it's been great.
Man, how's everything been going, man? Like, have you been noticing any change in the racism? Have you been noticing any change in the progression of reparations? How's that been going?
Oh, that's still the same. It's still staying stagnant, but I'm moving from one core plantation to another, so.
Man, congratulations, man.
We'll see how this one goes.
Hey, man, you already know what it is, man. You already know what it is, man. It is one of those things where I would say, I would definitely say that no matter where you go, you are under the bondage and yoke of the system of racism and white supremacy. If you are black, if you are for the movement of establishing a system of justice, any other racial group, then you too will be under that bondage to a certain degree. So, you know, they'll shut you down.
Is if you're white, you're still protected by it, man. So, yeah, I know what you mean, but.
No, that's real, man. I think that for the most part, I would say that racism and white supremacy is a global system, and it's something that we just can't get away from. And I really think in my heart of hearts that there's not very many people that is like in this book that we always talk about.
Right.
I think it's more people, what you think? I think it's more people that wait until they get mad. People didn't have to do none of that. They was trying to stop the war. I'm talking to all y'all that's watching, I'm talking about this book called The Burglary. This is the book that I'm talking about. And in this book, y'all hear us talk about this over and over again. There was white folk in that book that broke into the FBI building, long story short long. And they were trying to break into the building because they were thinking that they were stopping the war, the Vietnam War. Yeah. So when they broke into that building, right, they thought, oh, okay, yeah, we about to find all this illegal shit on paperwork. What they find, Nick?
Man, they found a whole bunch of shit that, you know, like I said, J. Edgar Hoover had a whole bunch of policies that said, you know, you needed informants on these black movements that were going on in the late 60s, early 70s. It was just a bunch of policies against black people. And they was like, wait, what the fuck is this? And so they were like, wait, should we publish this? And everyone was like, yeah, we need to publish this shit, because basically the FBI was doing stuff that your local police department does. Investigation on stolen cars. They wasn't doing no high level shit.
Man, that's.
But you know what? I think white people do it. They'll bring stuff to people's attention when it benefits them, right? So if it doesn't benefit them, they're gonna stay quiet. They ain't gonna say shit, and as soon as, like you said, they either get mad at somebody or they want to move up using somebody else, whatever it is, man. When it benefits them, they'll say something. Do you think
this, Nick? Let's just get into it. The judge. Mm-hmm. What was the bitch's name? Let's look up the bitch. What's her name? Natalie Chase. Now she was. Let's look, man. Fuck all this. We done this. This was our 4th, 5th podcast, Nick. Yep. We in it. We good. What you think, man? What you think? Why would she say that? Like, why would you even?
So you had a good point just a minute ago off camera. You said she was trying to make an excuse to say it, which I totally 100% agree with. And it's almost like she was trying to test her limits with the employee that she was saying it to. It was almost like, I dare you to do something to me, or I dare you to say something back saying I can't say it. So she was gonna just say it as many times as she could say it before someone corrected her or stopped her. And he said, fuck that, I'm just gonna wait until we get back and I'm gonna post this shit up so you have to fucking lose your job or resign, because I know she can go to some small ass towns and still get a job and still hold up the system, but she's gonna have a hard time finding a job like a judge in a big city. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think, okay, I think it's lame, bro. I get so tired. Like I told you off camera, why the fuck do people always be asking stupid shit like that, man? I remember somebody did that shit to me at work, and I was like, first of all, it's a term of endearment, and why are you asking me that?
Because white people are mad that they can't say it. You know what I'm saying? They want to be able to say anything and everything that's on their fucking mind. You know what I'm saying? And racist shit is on racist people's mind. So they want to say the shit that they want to feel. And when they can't say shit, they get pissed off, and they want to ask stupid questions like, well, why can't I say this? And why can't white people say this and that? Maybe because it was backed up by 500 years of some bullshit.
That's crazy, man. I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, Nick, man, but sometimes I just be looking at the dominant society as a whole. Like, do y'all think we that dumb? Like, do y'all really think that? It's almost like this. It's like Walter Scott. That's not what you saw. He was evading a police officer. Clown. We just watched somebody shoot him 5 times in the back and plant the gun right there. Right. No, that's not what you saw. Right. That's not what you saw. You get that. Okay. Then you get Darren Wilson. Well, he was attacking me and I was in fear for my life. It's that the coding in the wordplay is like, man, are y'all serious? And then it's always, well, in the court of law. But then when it comes to OJ, oh, well, he did it. You know how many people told me, I'm not racist, but I think OJ did it. Well, you are racist, because why would you say that to a black person that you think he did it, but you're not racist? If you're not racist, just say, I think he did it.
Right. Don't mention that. I don't mean to be racist.
I don't mean to, and I'm not racist.
Right.
It's like, bro, what are you on, bro? I just don't understand that shit. That I don't understand. I don't understand that. I don't understand. Oh, man, I don't understand the constant poking of the bear. Right. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. The constant, like, I'm gonna poke the bear. Like the lady, Kim Potter. Bitch, you was on the police force for 26 years, Nick. Come on, bro. 26 years. Come on, man. Right. It ain't like you shot him in the leg. Like, oh, my bad. I accidentally shot him. Suspend me. I was doing too much. I'll do my training over, whatever. And you even shot him and killed him. Even
that old racist ass motherfucker came on the thing and basically held up a gun and a taser and was like, you got these two confused? You know?
Man. And I saw this thing that Tariq Nasheed posted too about that white man that was like, it's about to go down. We ready. Right. Because to me, I feel like they are trying to start civil unrest. And then, but first, we have to do like the Haitian Revolution. Man, we had that talk yesterday off camera, you know what I'm saying, about, did you like how I was explaining that? When we had that talk about what I saw as a mammy? Now, most people wouldn't think, oh, no, that's not a mammy, but what did I say, Nick, about if white people are comfortable, what did I say, man?
If white people are comfortable around foundational black people, then you're doing something wrong, man.
You're doing something wrong. Because they shouldn't be comfortable around you.
Right.
And not comfortable in the standpoint of where they laughing and joking and having these meaningless conversations. I watch that shit. I watch it with my people at work, man.
And not only that, though, but how is that black person treating another black person, too?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you see what I'm saying? When I was like, well, this person says slick shit. And I've dealt with that throughout my journey at different corporate plantations. Like I told you how the black sister was going in on me, and then they flipped it and fired that bitch, and she want to come back over that Omarosa shit.
Right.
Oh, I was just with Donald Trump. I was the spook who sat by the door. And then when they was like, all right, nigga, bitch, get the fuck out of here, you fired. Then the bitch want to come back to the black community, but it's like, bitch, he don't fuck with you like that. That's the difference. That's why I was explaining it that way, because it's easy for me to say it's personal. I never brought up nothing personal. That's why I'm glad you heard that. Did I bring up anything personal?
No, hell no.
All I said was what I have observed being around this individual. Like, bro, they say a lot of slick shit, but I don't see them being slick to the motherfuckers that's in charge, but you want to be slick to the motherfucker that you think you can get away with that with. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think that's shiesty and mammyism.
Even the white people that ain't in charge. I mean, me and you were sitting in the same room. She came in.
My bad. Shawnee, man. Shawnee, what is up with you, my nigga? Hey, this is my, hey, Shawnee, you gonna have to go back and watch. Damn, which podcast was it, Nick? We done did about 3 or 4 of them. This is my boy, Nick. You already know, Shawnee, if I got someone on here, if I have somebody around me, that's one thing, Nick. Nick could attest to this. I'm not just saying 4 years. Just listen to it. She was like, what's the square table conversation? I told you, because black folk, and when we see dominant society talking about race,
right,
this is exactly how black folk gonna look at you, because it's like, are you on some Tim Wise shit? Remember I told you, see, you didn't know this about Tim Wise. Tim Wise was talking a bunch of shit about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. He called her shit pseudoscience bullshit. And then Dr. Frances Cress Welsing and Neely Fuller Jr., they did kind of a podcast, and Neely Fuller Jr. was like, that don't surprise me. These people come around among us and they act like our saviors. But Tim Wise, you're not John Brown. John Brown, his whole family got hung because of his crusade of going around and killing white people because he knew what they was doing was wrong.
Right.
They killed his whole family and him. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a difference between that and a Jane Elliott. Remember I told you when that, I'm gonna let you see that podcast. That brother was like, yeah, but what about reparations? What about reparations? You look at the Native Americans. We gotta give it to them first. They always hit black folk with that. They always hit them with that.
Or they say, okay, reparations, but we're going to decide how the reparations are handed out. We're going to help your education system and all this other bullshit. But you know what, man? The one thing that the Haitian Revolution did, and Dr. Claude Anderson talks about it too, the first step is getting unified. Building a foundation. Because if there's no foundation and there's no unification between black people to move forward, and that's what you're seeing, is you're having these black people kind of intermingle with white people and the people that are racist as fuck, just so they can move up corporate ladders. You know what I'm saying? And
no, you right. You saying some real shit, man. My thing is always this: we can get unified, but a lot of times I think a lot of foundational black Americans, we deal with a lot of trauma. We deal with a lot of fighting and in-house fighting and struggling and jockeying for position.
Well, that goes back to slavery too.
Slavery.
Yeah.
Exactly. And in slavery,
love black people against it.
Yes.
People, you know what I'm saying? So
doesn't it remind you of the Court Plantation?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
It's the same shit, right?
Same shit.
The same shit, because at the Court Plantation, what do? They want you acting a motherfucking fool.
Right.
That's what they want. They don't want you, in my personal opinion, they don't want you being on code. They want you being off code, acting a fool, acting like you don't know what's going on, doing their bidding, fighting with everyone, saying slick shit.
Yep.
I don't care what you say to other people, but when it comes to your people, you shouldn't get a kick out of saying slick shit to them and trying to like put them in a category because you unhappy. Because a lot of times, I'll tell you this, Nick, most Court Plantations, that's why Nuke could tell you. I've known Nuke 15 years. Nuke could tell you. The majority of those black folk that do that, those are insecure black folk who need a pat on the head by the white dominant society.
Right.
Most black folk that I get along with at the Court Plantation, they are like-minded, which means they're not mammying it up. They're not samboing it up. They going to work, they getting in and they getting out.
They're not smiling.
They're not smiling and everything is, hey, Tom, that bullshit. Right. They're not doing none of that. They're not coming in talking all ghetto so white folk could like, you know, they're not trying to be the minstrel show. I don't like that shit, man. And I sit and I watch. Why you think I said what I said yesterday? I was like, from what I've observed, mammy.
Right.
And you don't even know sometimes you talking and dealing with a mammy because they were the garb of being on code. So when they wear that garb, it's hard for you to be like, oh yeah, they cool, man. They cool. You know, you don't really know them. So you just go by what they're telling you. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I've learned just that judge doesn't surprise me what she said.
No, not at all.
That doesn't surprise me because who do you think is governing these laws and writing these laws? This is not foundational black Americans. These are white racist people. These are anti-black, racist, white supremacists that are writing these laws. They're not writing these laws. They black folk. What are they doing, Nick?
They putting black people in jail. So, and like I said, man, they're mad that they can't say shit. They're mad that there's a word in the fucking in the human dictionary that they can't say. And so because they can't say it, they gonna say some shit like that where you're a judge and you have an employee next to you in a car and you're just constantly looking for excuses to bring it up. Because you think that if you ask a question, why can't I say this? But then you saying it, I'm like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
But you know, you got a person that's in power and that has the authority to put black people in jail.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So you got, oh man.
Why do you think, like that judge saying that now, whether it was a black employee or a white employee, I just think she did it just because she could. Because, you know, that's what Dr. Klein Anderson says. He says white folks simply do things because they can.
Well, not only that, but if it was a white employee, I don't think this would ever be brought up.
Exactly.
And she was saying it to a white employee.
Unless they was pissed off and they wonder, what do you
it benefited them.
What do you think about Sharon Osbourne going on Bill Maher's show? First of all, what do you think about Bill Maher?
Man, you know what, dude? I used to watch it. Like, you know, you already know. I used to be a big Democrat, man. And and finally discovering that, you know, racism is both sides. It doesn't matter. There's one side that's out in the open with it, and there's one side that's hiding behind fucking closed doors, being racist as a motherfucker. So
facts.
But you know, he's had a few instances. Like I said, I went back a few weeks ago. He had Charlamagne on talking about reparations, and he said the same shit. Oh well, we should invest it in education.
Why do white people
making the education system better and all this other shit? So he on some bullshit right now.
Well, Nuke. I know. I just text Nuke. Shawnee, I just texted her not too long ago. She was a little under the weather and stuff like that. She's been super busy. Our schedules haven't been able to be in alignment with each other, but once she is, you know, feeling better, then she's gonna come back. And we're gonna have her and Nick on the show. I told you it was gonna, I'm telling you, the people that's been watching this show since day one, like Shawnee, they gonna be like, where the fuck is Nuke? Because Nuke used to do it with me. And then every week when they didn't see Nuke, they be like, where the fuck is Nuke at? Like, where is she at? I told you. Anybody that's watched it before, they gonna always say that shit. And I ain't mad at her, man, because I would be doing the same shit. Right. Nah, she'll be back, but this is what I think about Bill Maher. I think Bill Maher has been around black folk who has allowed him to say things he shouldn't be saying, right, and who has allowed him to think he can say things that he's not supposed to be saying. Meaning what, Warren?
And not to mention, man, you know, there's rumors that he likes black women. So he's another white person that's attracted to black females, and so because he's attracted to black females, he doesn't think he's racist.
Let me tell you this.
But who else? Hey, we've been talking the last few episodes. Who else was attracted to black females? Slave owners. Right.
There's a show that everybody should watch. It's called Ray Donovan. Mm. Go watch that show on Showtime. Ray Donovan had his dad, played by Jon Voight, the illustrious actor, a great actor. He makes the show. His name is Mick Donovan. Mick exemplifies white men. He has white kids, white wife, but was cheating on his white wife with the black mistress. Mm-hmm. But he always would put it out there. I love black women, but I don't like black men so much. Well, because you're racist. Right. That's why. Right. And those are tidbits that people could learn. And then his black son, he didn't raise. But the black son wanted to be black Irish so bad and want to be a part of the Donovans so bad, he would basically do all kinds of shicey shit to his black son. But the mom knew the type of motherfucker he is. Right. Right? And at the end of the series, which I think they're going to come back because they kind of wrote it off, but they're going to come back. The black son, Pooch Hall, that's played by Pooch Hall, he ended up basically getting his girlfriend killed dealing with his racist white dad that he wants to be a part of. And that motherfucker was getting ready to kill him. Right. Then they showed scenes where him and his white brothers was fighting in the bar because these white people was basically calling him nigga, and you know, they was taking up for him. But here's a show, so that's fictitious. Mm-hmm. In real life, that's exactly how most other racial groups are when they date black folk. They think they get a pass, Michael Rappaport, because they are white and they like black women. So they think they get a pass, right? So they have this, I would say, arrogance about themselves when they dealing with black folk because they date black women. Now, Michael Rappaport just exemplified and displayed exactly what I'm talking about. He did a whole ass bitch ass move
Katie on the
and
spot,
putting,
yeah.
but because
a private
he's
conversation
because he's white and KD is black. He knew the media was gonna eat that up. He did.
Right.
He basically used white privilege, and then you felt bad because you was getting a lot of pushback from the black community. So now you don't want to be at a yo with the black people. So now you want to come and apologize, and then you play the victim. Oh, well, he was threatening me, and you a whole ass white motherfucker who comes amongst black people with the yo shit and oh, what up? And I didn't like Michael Rappaport when he did that documentary on Tribe Called Quest. I did not like that. First of all, who are you to do a documentary on Tribe Called Quest? 1, 2. I didn't like how he captured a lot of the fighting between Fife and Q-Tip. That should have not been put on TV. You know why? Can I go into the Jewish community and they show me the in-house fighting? When have you ever on TV seen Jews fight? White Jewish people. Ever.
Never.
Have you ever seen the Rothschilds against another racial group? You're never going to see that. But it was like he took joy and pride. I don't care where he was coming from. He can act like it was no malice in his heart, but I don't like that. It's like
and he started off his career by playing a racist motherfucker, didn't he?
Yeah, higher learning.
Higher learning. So
yeah, and he played that very well.
a little too well.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Shawnee says, does your guest date black women? I don't know. Do you date black women, Nick?
I date black women. I date all women, but yeah, I date black women. I hang out with black people, and guess what, man? I still have racist tendencies. You know, and that's why I tell every white person should read White Fragility, because you will sit. Because I know some white people that think that just because the neighborhood they live in, that they're not racist. And it's like, man, what the fuck? You can be racist inside your house all day long. So that doesn't make sense.
Look, I told Shawnee this a long time ago, right?
Same thing. I'll bring up the Kanye topic. I called you up one day and said, man, what do you think about this Kanye shit? And you're like what about it? And I said, well, you know, he's saying like slavery was a choice, and you're like, well, it was a choice, because if it wasn't a choice, it would look like the Haitian Revolution. And I was like, oh shit, when you put it like that, because I didn't think he meant it when he said it like that. It was almost like he was saying, you know, they liked being slaves or something like that.
Yeah.
But when he said it like that, I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's true. But once again, my racism shows by holding a black person standard up here and the white people up here, right? Because when a white person comes out as Republican or racist, it's like, oh yeah, I should have expected that. But when all of a sudden Kanye's on that side, it's like, oh, what's up with Kanye? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I remember when you asked me that. There's two sides. Yeah, there's a choice, and it would look like the Haitian Revolution. But if you read the book before the Mayflower, there's a difference of opinion, because some people mentally are enslaved. So they think that's what they're supposed to be. Everybody, look, in that book, A Pound of Flesh, how a lot of the slave masters basically would get over is they would beat and kill one to be the example for the rest of the slaves.
Right.
A lot of slaves were mentally beat down where they didn't want to die.
Right.
It was different from the Haitian Revolution. The Haitian Revolution, you have to understand this too. I don't think Kanye West understood. In Haiti, they still had their African principles and beliefs. Think about it. If I have my African principles and beliefs, Kumdumble, voodoo, I have Santeria, I have all these African principles and beliefs, I'm not gonna fear you, right? I'm not gonna fucking fear you, because I'm worshiping something that's more powerful than you. I'm drawing from the earth. I'm drawing from the power of Ogun. That's different from people out here who's praying to Cesare. It's a lot different. Right. It's just people took that and was like, oh, and I get it. People got upset, but I read before the Mayflower. I knew about Jean-Jacques Dessalines. I knew about Dirty Bookman. I knew about his prayer and how he was just like, you need to replace the image of the white man's God. That God asked them, look up look up Dirty Bookman's prayer. Google it. The prayer is dope, because he's like, their God asked them to commit crimes. So how could we be serving the same God?
Right.
That's why they weren't afraid. That's why Mackendall and them was like, you think you gonna come to our land where we worship the land, the earth, the sky, the sun? We don't praise no Cesare.
Right.
Nigga, stop. Why do you think they were like, man, I'll kill myself and you before I fucking allow you to enslave my people? Right. That's why it was different in Haiti. It's just people take it out of context.
And if you think I'm gonna die and that's over, I'm coming back.
Yeah, they like, I'm coming back after I die, motherfucker. And that's why it's like that. That's why I don't think people understand that. I really don't think people understand it's a difference. Slavery in America was a different beast. We were already here. They come here bearing smallpox gifts and all this other shit and playing all these games and divide and conquer and auctioning off land that ain't theirs, right? Mm-hmm. And then you playing the game and then you enslave people and then you kind of bring more Africans over here. But you notice when it got to Haiti, they was like, well, y'all niggas not doing that over here because we're worshiping something that's, why do you think the first thing they do is replace the image of whatever your God is with whatever our fucking God is? Right. It's like when in Rome, do as the Romans. So that's why a lot of black folk were beat down mentally. But then you have the Nat Turners that's like, nah, fuck that. We killing all you motherfuckers. Right. And then that's why when they found him, they couldn't wait to hang him because they didn't want that to travel. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like when you leave the corporate plantation, you go to a different plantation. The plantation that you're leaving, they don't want that to circulate with all the other motherfucking slaves because then people gonna be like, well, where are you going? Well, I'm going to that one then. Right. If they treating us a little bit better, I'm going. It's the same shit. Yep. That's why when I watch that, have you seen that movie Antebellum? Antebellum, it's not a bad movie. It's a pretty good movie. It's you would think it's in the slave day, but it's more slave play. So what they did was kidnap black folk. Janelle Monáe's in, and they kidnap black folk in this time and then take them to a plantation in the South, right. And then they just replaying slavery all over again. And just you take away your phone, everything, and have you on the plantation. It's crazy, but it's actually in real time. Right. And it's crazy because it was two white boys in it, and this girl thought that the white boy was being nice to her, and she was just like, oh, okay, and he flipped on her like, no, bitch. You a nigga. You gotta watch it. It's very good because it shows you like just because they fuck you don't mean they fuck with you. And I think a lot of people, they take it out of context, especially when you're dealing with people like Michael Rappaport. I can only use him because what he did is just typical white boy behavior to me, man. That's dominant society behavior.
It's almost like you're pushing someone so far until they actually take it to that limit, and all of a sudden now you want to back up and be the victim. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm gonna talk shit to KD, but as soon as KD ups me where I can't come and I can't say nothing back to him, that's when I'm posting this shit and making him look bad.
Okay. Hey, what's going on, Milton, man? Shout out to Milton, man. That dude, hey, that ain't your signal. It's YouTube playing the game. Don't trip. But we recorded. If the video is this bad, when I go back and play it, I'm just gonna upload the motherfucking recording. But shout out to everybody that's out there. Shawnee, you said you had a book, fam. Okay, which book you talking about? What book was we talking about? I don't know. What book was we talking about, Shawnee? Remind me. But I feel like that judge did that too to see what type of black person she was dealing with. Because a lot of people, a lot of dominant society white people, they want to press your buttons because they want you to give them a react.
They're almost daring you.
So they can be like, aha.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. Like what we deal with at the core plantation. That's why a lot of people, we're not going to say their names. I'm not going to say their names, past core plantations, future core plantations. When they're black and they're not smiley, people hate that. That makes them uncomfortable because you can't get a reaction out of them. Their response is, I ain't going to say shit to you.
And that's a good point, going back to what we were just talking about. When you got people working at a job location and all of a sudden a couple people leave to go work from home, they don't want that shit feeding back into other people because then everybody's want to work from home, right?
If, not even that. If you just, I'm telling you, it's the old adage. When I was working at Silver Mesa and then I was getting ready to go work at the Y, they didn't really want me telling people, like, where you working? I'm like, well, I'm going to work both. But then when Silver Mesa was kind of bullshit at the time, I just was like, well, I'm working at the Y, and they didn't really want me talking about it because people was gonna be like, well, how many hours they giving you over there? I'm like, oh, they giving me. They're like,
are they still hiring?
Yeah, they still hiring. So when you work at a plantation and you getting ready to go to a better plantation, because all the plantation,
It's all the same.
they don't want that type of energy. See, look, every plantation that I've worked at, I remember when I was working at the Y and I went to Opportunity Village. It was the same type of adage. People are like, where you getting ready to go? I'm like, I'm getting ready to go to Opportunity Village. They're like, shit, they offer you bennies over there? I'm like, bennies? And full time, 40 hours a week type shit, you know? And they would be like, a lot of the people would be like, damn, for real they hire? Straight up, because, you know, it's the energy behind it. And people sometimes, they need other people to open that door so they can walk through it. And then once they walk through it, other people see the door opening and they like, hey man, is there still room over there? That's why a lot of people, especially when they know they doing people wrong, they don't want people to think outside the box. They want more ciphers from the Matrix.
Right.
White Fragility. Yeah.
Oh,
She got that book. Shawnee got that book. Yeah, I put Nick onto that book. Look, let me tell you something, Shawnee, because see, this is what I like about Shawnee. This is what I like about my sister. I'm surprised my sister been busy, but please be busy. She gonna be like, all right, man, so what's up with this Nick dude, man? Because once, I'm gonna tell you, remember I told you this, Nick, when you start reading black folk and they study, oh, what's up, Erica? What's happening with it? When you study and you start reading, this is what happens. It gives you, remember I told you, it gives you a different perspective. It opens up your peripheral and you can see things differently. It's like Neo when he saw the code. Once he saw the code, he was like, what? He was the enlightened one. He was the one. He was awakened.
Right.
So once that happened, I started reading shit. And then I was like telling my sister about certain books. And then Shawnee was kind of telling me about books that I didn't even know about, like the book of Enoch. I've heard, but not really heard.
Right.
And once I started getting these books and getting a different understanding, it opens you up. Now, Nick, once black folk start to study just a little bit, everybody ain't got to be Michael Eric Dyson. Right. But if you study, I'm talking about if you ain't got to do nothing but read 5 minutes a day. I did start off with 5 minutes a day, then 10, then 20, then 30, then 40. You read 40 minutes a day. You do start looking at every other racial group upside their head, whether you date outside your race or not. Right. See, I remember I told you before I was studying, I didn't know a lot, but I could smell racism from far away.
Right. And
I would have different racial groups around me, and there would be different words that would register with my mind. And other people that would be around me would be like, damn, Warren, you be going hard. What you mean ghetto? What does that mean? Right. Well, what do you mean ghetto? Oh, what I just mean, nah, man, get the fuck out of here. Matter of fact, get the fuck out of my apartment.
It's in that book, White Fragility. She says, ask a white person what side of town in any city that they live in, what side of town do you think is the bad side of town? They'll always say the side of town that's predominantly black.
Facts.
Always.
Facts. That's why you think Shawnee, see, Shawnee, man, educated. And when people start educating themselves and educating and read, she done put me onto books.
Because the schools ain't teaching you.
The schools ain't gonna teach you nothing. So now when you educate yourself outside of the school system, black folk are supposed to look at any other racial group upside their head until they prove otherwise. Meaning this, I don't want to hear how many rap songs you know. I don't want to hear how many fucking poems you can quote by fucking Martin Luther King.
Right.
Please don't even bring up Martin Luther King. Don't even bring up Malcolm X either. Right. You're not getting no points with me bringing up any of those people. Don't bring up Harriet Tubman. Don't bring up none of that sucker shit. If you really, really, really trying to be an ally, remember I told you, you're establishing a system of justice, which means you telling us what's being said when we're not in the room. And how many times have I told you, bro, I can see and count so many white folk that was talking shit about black folk and won't even tell you, man.
Right.
Won't even tell you, won't even break code. But then to sit up there and be like, oh man, you know, I'm not racist. Well,
they don't want to relinquish the power, man. I told you that. They want to keep the system going, man.
Facts. And the reason why they want to keep the system going, in my personal opinion, is because why would they give up the power that is so easy for them? Then how could they come amongst people like me and be like, I worked hard to get this position. I went to school and I got my degree. I'd be so sick of when a black person tells me this, I love it. Because I love my educated black brothers and sisters. We need educated black brothers and sisters that got their college degrees. I love being around them because it's an accomplishment. In this system, it is a big accomplishment. So I love my black folk. But when a white person get to telling me some shit about they got a degree, I be looking at them like, you know this is your system, right?
Right.
You know that the colleges are named after you, right?
You're gonna succeed no matter what.
Yeah,
man.
you know the money looks like you, right?
Right.
You know, it's green, but the people on there look like you, right?
Yeah.
You know the infrastructure is built for you, right? You know, if I went and counted off the stock market, the biggest players, they all look like you, right? So why would I be like revering you? That's why I always mention Jeff Bezos, because I don't want people to take it out of context. No, you're not going to be Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. Those were privileged kids.
Right.
Those were privileged kids, man. White children. That you're first of all, you're already privileged because you're white. But then when you grow up with a little bit of status and money, that's such a boost and such, I would say, a step forward ahead of black folk. It's like, but then what happens is, Nick, you know it, they'll tell a motherfucker to be like Jeff Bezos. Where's the next black Jeff Bezos? Like, nigga, what?
Right.
What did we talk about on Thursday? How many black grandmothers is giving their kids $450,000?
Right. Even Trump got like $3 million from his dad to start up his like little real estate business or whatever the fuck it was.
$3 million.
Yeah.
So who giving you three? Not you, but who's giving the majority of foundational black Americans $3 million to start a business? Who's doing that?
Nobody, man. Nobody.
I think that judge who said that, I think she was trying to provoke that person and get a reaction out of them and not a response. What you think?
Well, not only that, but they need to go back and look at all her cases and re-examine all the cases that she's been a part of. Because if she's saying like that shit that openly to an employee of the court system, then she's probably put a lot of black people in jail for longer or for no reason than what they should have been.
What about Papa John's? Oh, I'm gonna put out the tape. That lady interviewed him and was like, well, that really, to me, it doesn't absolve you of what you did. Right. Well, I was just using the context. Well, why would you use the word period?
Right.
You was using the word because you thought everybody was on code and nobody was gonna put your ass on blast. But actually, people was offended by that shit and put your ass on blast, and you probably made some enemies before then, so they put that shit on blast. But you talking about, well, I'm gonna air all the recordings because it wasn't in that context. What do you mean? You shouldn't have said it, period.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, why would you say that?
And you know what, man? Let's just talk about the word in general right now. Every community has a word that they find offensive, that they don't think that you should say, right? Gay people, women. Yep. I'm sorry, I'm not a woman. Maybe you can correct me, but cunt doesn't do it for me. Cunt doesn't make me cringe. The N word, when you add the ER to the N, man, it's the only word that makes you just like, fuck, man, you a racist motherfucker.
And I'll tell you this. Let's say this. Why do you think that a lot of people always use that as the example? Well, how come they can say it, but we can't? And they say it in rap, but we can't, and all these other things. And I always be like, why are people still asking that dumbass question?
Right.
That's like me telling Jewish people and saying, well, why we can't say kike and why we can't say all this other shit? LeBron James was rapping a verse from, what was it? The Migos, and one of them, they was like, I'm about to get this Jewish money. They made him apologize for saying, I'm about to get this Jewish money. They don't even want you saying a name. They took, you know you can't even get the secret relationship between black and Jews on Amazon by the Nation of Islam. You know that book that the Nation of Islam wrote? You know not the majority, damn near all the information was written by white Jewish scholars. All they did was copy and paste and cite their references.
Right.
I read the whole book. Every bit of writing in that book by the Nation of Islam, it says, and by such and such and such, reference this book by this white Jewish person.
And I already asked you that question off the camera the other day. That dude that was from the Miami Heat, and he said that that slur against Jewish people, and he was cut from the team like that. But yet, you got Justin Bieber that was literally saying the N-word like a motherfucker in that song.
Yep.
Talking about being in the KKK, and hey, he's still going. It's all right for him.
That's because, remember I told you?
Why is it one way for one people, whether you say it about gay people, Jewish people, you get cut off immediately. But with black people, you actually have like 9 lives.
What about this? I was watching on the news how they were like, this month is remembrance of the Jewish Holocaust. I don't dislike, like I told you, that hip hop group I was in, that production crew. One of my production partners, he was Jewish. You know, and he was cool. I didn't think he was appropriating the culture because I think he was more like, he just wanted to make he grew up on hip hop music, but he wasn't on no yo-yo, none of that shit.
Right.
First of all, I wouldn't allow that around me. I don't really play that type of shit, and I'm not gonna smile with you anyway. And here's the thing. When it comes to the white Jewish community, I admire the way they stay on code and they keep any disgruntled situations in-house. So I admire that. And you can learn a lot from them.
And they funnel their money through their own people. Yeah.
So I admire that. But what I don't like is the white Jewish community tries to somehow, some way think that they're absolved of any wrongdoing when it comes to slavery.
Right.
That's why they kicked me off of Twitter so many times. I didn't have so many damn Twitter accounts because I was taking pictures of the secret relationship between Jews and blacks and posted it on Twitter because, people was all in my comments. I'm like, the white Jewish community is just as guilty as any other racial group when it comes to slavery. Now, all the motherfucking white Jewish people come out the woodwork. Oh, you're anti-Semitic. I said, I'm not anti-Semitic. How could I be anti my own people? Right. The Semitic people were black folk. You better go read The Destruction of a Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Right. Hermetic people were black. The Semitic people, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, they were black. Sorry, I don't want to hear that bullshit. That's one. 2, stop claiming some shit that you know ain't yours. That's 2. And 3, stop playing this game like they weren't involved in the slave trade. You made so much money and profited so much. That's why they banned the secret relationship between Jews and blacks, or blacks and Jews, on Amazon.
Well, not to mention though, man, if you go and watch, if you go and read Red, White, and Black by Mike Shabazz, he makes a case basically that because in the Bible it basically says that Shezre's gonna come back and just save the Jewish people, and he's like, no, actually it's the black people that are the special people that he's gonna, that supposedly he's gonna come back and save. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Go read that book, Red, White, and Black.
Wait, let me see. How about boy to a 35 plus black man? Oh, I'm a female. Oh, she talking about that what you just showed me. That man is, if I'm not mistaken, is she talking about that man that was trying to fight that young boy?
Which one? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's telling the kid, you in the wrong neighborhood, motherfucker. But yeah, he lives right around the corner.
What kind of shit is that?
That's just saying that you don't believe that black people should live in the same neighborhoods as you. You should. They deserve to live in neighborhoods that are beneath what your standards are.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna read this. And they all want to keep melanated live as a buffer between themselves and white supremacist America. Facts. I'll tell you this, Nick. We see it at the corporate plantation. We see it everywhere. I done had people ask me that. And you know what? After reading, I'm like, why would I educate another racial group on racism and white supremacy?
Not only educate, though, but why is it that if anything comes up, it's the black person's job to prove to you what they want to know? Just like we was talking about that case that happened 2 years ago where the black dude was was babysitting the 2 white kids.
Yeah.
This white lady in Walmart was like, hey, do those white kids belong to you? And he's like, I'm babysitting them. And she was like, oh, well, I need you to prove to me that you're babysitting. Like, why the fuck does he need to prove to you?
I'll tell you this, Nick. Because in this system of racism, white supremacy, I told you already, they want deaf, dumb, and blind black folk. It makes their job easier. It makes them not have to keep up on their toes. Why do you think when they see a black person reading, it's an intimidation factor to most white folk? Because they be looking at you like, what are you reading for? Well, because I want to read. I remember somebody was like, but why? Like, what do you read? I said, because I want to know what's going on in the world. Because the majority of people that you've worked with on other corporate plantations, that I've worked with on other corporate plantations, they're ciphers, bro. Right. They just want to take that pill. What did he say in the movie? I don't want to remember anything. I want to be rich.
Right.
Yes, but we need the codes to Zion. I told you already, I don't have them, but I can get you the person that does. Just like in what happened to Fred Hampton. Nobody thinks that J. Edgar Hoover was behind the assassination of Fred Hampton. He wanted to get any black messiah to fuck. That's why they couldn't stand the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's why they hated the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because they couldn't get to him.
Right.
And the only thing, look, I love Malcolm X, but when you told on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that's why I was like, nah, you went wrong on that one, homie. Sometimes you just got to keep shit to yourself and be on code, because black folk are the only people that's going to really take care of you. These white folks going to set you out and let you fucking drown.
Right.
Once they done with you, they going to be like, look what they did to Freeway Rick Ross. There's a book I want to get. It's called The Dark Alliance. It's about Gary Webb. I want to get that book too. Gary Webb, they killed Gary Webb because Gary Webb told what they was really doing. And when they was done with fucking Freeway Rick, they indicted him and sent him to prison. And that fucking pipeline went all the way up to George Bush.
Right.
But then they'll parade George Bush around at the Super Bowl like they were good people. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That they were good people.
Yeah.
But you were the head of the CIA. You knew what the fuck was going on with the Contras and the fucking dope coming into the fucking community.
Yeah.
And oh, well, we'll just lose black people. And then what was that lady? Just say no.
Right.
Then they did a campaign on war on drugs.
Right.
Then you had 94 crime bill Joe Biden be the architect behind the 94 crime bill. Go get the new Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. And then white folk had a nerve to be looking at us. Oh, you crackheads. Okay, y'all brung it to the country. Y'all flooded the black community with it. And then you want to tell us we dope fiends?
And then when it comes to the opioid epidemic, it's like, oh, well, these people are just sick. They need help. So it's different when it's drugs that white people like to take.
I'm telling you, man. The military arrested him and charged him along with civil charges. Oh, I guess that dude that was tripping on that young kid.
Yep.
Yeah, well, of course.
Right.
The military is not going to be. Military is the most racist motherfuckers on the planet too. Please stop.
Right.
Motherfuckers act like, but of course the military should have done that because that's the only, I would say is right?
And did you notice in the video, the white dude is being the aggressor and then turning it on the black kid and being like, oh, why you getting, don't walk away, acting like as if he's the one that's being the aggressor.
Facts.
They always do that shit. They always turn it around on you.
I had that at the corporate plantation one time at one of the corporate plantations. I was speaking to somebody else, and a dominant society suspected white supremacist heard it and tried to call himself confronting me at the corporate plantation. Mm-hmm. Hey, like, why didn't you say it? And I said, what do you mean? He's like, oh, I heard you talking about me. I said, I wasn't talking about you. All I said was, if nobody in this department or building knows me like that, then they can't call me or say anything to me unless it's pertaining to the job. No, I wasn't really speaking about you. Well, I feel like you were talking about me. Okay. Well, if you have something to say, say it. And I said, okay, well, I feel like you've been the most unprofessional person in the building since I've been here. You tell everybody's business, which is very divisive and very unprofessional. And if you're in leadership, I don't think you should be conducting yourselves like how you're conducting yourself at this organization.
Right.
I think human resources would frown upon what you're doing and saying, right? Then he said, well, don't get loud with me. I said, I'm not getting loud with you. I'm just speaking monotone because that's what they do. Right. They try to bait you into some shit. And then guess what at the end? Well, I just want to be friends. I said, I'm not here to be anybody's friend. This is business, not personal. Right. I'm here to do my job and go home and get a paycheck.
They want you to react, man.
And then when you couldn't get no reaction out of me, now you're mad.
Right.
And that's what it is.
And not to mention, though, you didn't say nothing specifically about him, but because he has a guilty conscience about himself, all of a sudden, you said it directly about me.
Exactly. And that's how it is with, I would say, the United States of America Incorporated, and you say why. And the reason why I say why is because I think in my observation of working at different corporate plantations and going out and seeing certain things, I always just watch. Like, Nick, you know me for a minute. You've known me for a minute. And out of that minute, you could definitely say at the corporate plantation, I don't play the motherfucking smiling bullshit. I'm going to watch you and I'm going to look and see what the fuck you got going on, man. Because a lot of the times people will hide under the garb of truth and hide under the garb of oh, I'm a real ally and I'm trying to establish a system of justice. And then when they get in those rooms, they're the opposite of what Dr. Frances Cress Welsing teaches us.
Right.
She says, when you get in that room, tell us what's being said so we can know. Right. Don't get in the room and then close the door and be like, yeah, fuck those niggers. And then get out there and be like, oh, man. Right. I worked around more white folk. I would say 99%.
But you know what, man? You also do something I mentioned last time, too, and I'm starting to do it. Learn your policies at your job, man. Learn what you can and can't do, because when they come at you with some bullshit, you're automatically going to know, hey, I ain't playing that. You're going to respond in a way that's going to make them feel uncomfortable because they know they fucked up.
Facts.
I would say do the same thing with the laws, but the difference with that is know the laws in the courtroom, because it doesn't really matter if you know the laws on the street, man. They're still going to look for an excuse to shoot you. So
that's facts.
In the courtroom, yes, but yeah.
I think this...
They hate black people, especially that they can't fuck with, man. They really do.
Especially at the court plantation. Oh Lord Jesus.
But you know,
look at our homegirl. We ain't gonna mention her name yet, but look at our homegirl that we know. Well, we got two of them that we know. Melanated sisters, intelligent, beautiful black sisters.
Right.
And they not smiley.
Not at all.
So they are public enemy number one.
Everybody talking shit about them.
Everybody talking shit about them. Don't even know them. Don't know nothing personal about them. Don't know nothing.
But it's all their fault.
But it's all their fault.
You know what, man? There's a part in that movie Django, man, where Jamie Foxx shows up at this plantation, and the German dude tells the slave owner, say, hey, man, he's a free man. You got to treat him like a free man. And he looks at one of the black girls and says, all right, show him around. And she's like, well, you want me to treat him like a white person? He's like, I did not say that. He's like, and then he basically brings up a white dude that's mentally challenged. He goes, yeah, treat him like him. And I feel like they do that even with us. They'll be like, oh, so you want to treat Warren like Nick? No, I did not say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same shit, man.
It is. They're
always gonna treat black people like they ain't shit, man. And that's why they always have levels. They always, like, the poor white people are above the black people.
That are smarter and more educated and everything.
Right. A white dude drop out in the 6th grade is still better than a black dude that got a college education.
I'm telling you, I would say this. I agree with you. I've seen it myself. And that's why it's important for black folk to establish a code. And when you establish a code, you stick with that code. Meaning, you don't get around white folk and start talking shit and saying slick shit to your brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you say it to everyone else. Don't do that to your people, because that's the problem. We get on this plantation and then we commit crimes against each other.
And while the white person's doing this.
Yep, and eating popcorn.
Really?
And eating popcorn.
Right.
They're eating popcorn and they're taking pleasure in that. That's why I've always...
I'm going to play you against you and you against you.
And
I'm going to have all you guys fighting.
All y'all fighting. And while y'all all fighting, what they're doing is they are taking stock and inventory, writing notes and saying, and this is why we're not going to hire niggas anymore. Because they can't get along. They don't know, because we are such a disenfranchised and broken people. I'm talking about black folk. We've been through so much traumatic shit that when we do, I want to come to the show, Warren. Hey, come through. hey, come through.
We got plenty of spots.
Hey, we got plenty of spots. Hey, let me know, Shawnee. If not, we're gonna have to get you on a Zoom or something. I'm gonna have to figure out how to, Nick, you have to help me set up the Zoom. I won't, Shawnee gonna give niggas the business. I'm telling you, bro. Bro, remember I told you? Shawnee, I told him before. I told you, man, off air, I'm like, bro, I'm pretty sure my brother gonna be like, hey, man, who the fuck is that white dude on the show? He gonna say it. I know my sister, she gonna be cool, but when she not busy, she busy right now, but when she got really time to focus, she gonna be like, okay, who is this motherfucker, man? How many books he read? Right. And what is he really trying to do? And we're supposed to be that way.
Right.
Because that's what I say on my podcast. You watched my podcast before. Don't just be. See, let me give you some examples. Pink.
But like you said, man, white people love just to listen to rap music and be like, oh, see, I'm doing something for black people.
No, you're not
doing shit.
Exactly. Let's go. Let's do the roll call. We have Pink, the artist Pink. Mm-hmm. We have, what is that brother, the white brother with the tattoos all over his face. He's a white dude and he raps. He had that song called White Iverson. I forgot his name. Oh God, he's a naysayer in hip hop now. He's got a whole lot of songs. I think he had a song with the Migos too. What's that white rapper's name?
With the tattoos on his face?
Yeah, with the tattoos on his face. I don't know his name. You have him. You got Justin Bieber. You got Justin Timberlake. You got all these. I'm just using that side of the coin. Right. You have all these people in our genre of music that will try to be the naysayer of who's hot in our genre of music because what white folk,
Eminem to a certain degree.
Eminem to a certain, look, I used to be a big Eminem fan because of Dr. Dre. Because I love Dr. J. I'm a production guy. I love beats. So it was like the perfect match.
Right.
What I didn't like about Eminem, I don't know him personally, but what I didn't like was all this racial tension and black folk being shot and killed with impunity, and for you not to use your platform to say something is so disrespectful on so many levels because you have used our platform to get your white poor ass rich.
Right.
That's what I don't like.
Right.
After we co-signed you, that's what I don't like. And then you made a very disrespectful song about black women, and people don't know that. You never heard that song, huh?
Which one?
Oh, where you calling black women niggers and all this other stuff, and black women are dumb black bitches, and oh yeah. And see, that's what I don't like, and you never publicly apologized. That's what I don't like. That's what turned me off, because you're using our art form, and you are not paying homage to me the way you should be. I don't care how many black people you done gave opportunities. There's a lot of slave masters that done gave black people opportunities, but if you still up here raping and pillaging black women and burning up fucking black people and tar and feathering them and castrating them, then what good are you to us?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Post Malone, Beverly McLeland. Yeah. Good looking out. Hey, shout out to Beverly McLeland. Post Malone, that motherfucker. Yeah, that's, look, right? Wait, I'm not going to lie. I thought I was on the wrong YouTube channel. I told you, dog. Johnny, I've been telling Machine Gun Kelly. See? Yep. Look, you know what's so funny? When Machine Gun Kelly went back at Eminem, I said, ooh, we get a chance to watch white on white crime for once and let them entertain us. Right. That went away so fast. And then what I didn't like about that battle, Eminem still said some disrespectful shit about Puffy orchestrating the murder of Tupac, but he said it in a joke. And then I remember, God, what is that? That rapper's name, the young rapper that just went to jail because he got indicted on some shit he posted on social media. He called Eminem out on that. He said, hey, my nigga, you snitching. Right. We don't do that shit over here. And it's like, I think white folks sometimes, they use our art form for play. Right. This is our trauma that black folk went through. You using it for play, like DMX. Everybody want to come out of it, but did you love him when he was alive? Did you knew the trauma he was going through? Right. Do you knew that somebody gave him a blunt and it was crack in it? Nobody, and that's how he got introduced to crack and got hooked. Nobody knew that. You know why? Because record labels and everybody was trying to make money off him. I'm not saying Swiss Beats and Rough Riders. I'm talking about when you're dealing with Def Jam, a machine, and you're making them millions, billions of dollars, they don't give a fuck what type of dope you on. Remember what Leor Cohen said on The Breakfast Club? Did you ever see that interview? No. When they was like, well, what if the artists that you have, they're on drugs? He was like, oh, well, as long as they're making money. Oh, man. He didn't give a fuck about that shit. Right. The white boy with the tats, yeah, Machine Gun Kelly. Then Post Malone. Yeah, and Post Malone, too. And what I didn't like about Post Malone was, I just feel like he wanted to do rock music. The motherfuckers, they be like, damn, I didn't even know that. Right. I'll say it again, Nick. Pink is an ugly white bitch that's competing with Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears. Britney Spears is the typical white bitch that they want to flourish. That's the template of white women that's going to sing music. Yep. So if you're not looking like her or Christina Aguilera, then guess what? You're not making it.
Right. So let me ride the coattails of hip hop until I get a little bass, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna go to rock music. Then
all of a sudden it's like you ain't never even sang R&B before, right. And now you smoking cigarettes and you doing punk rock shit. And I be looking like, oh my god. So cause you ugly bitch. So you just used the shit because you knew they wasn't gonna fuck with you. That's what I don't like. I don't like people coming on our side of the train tracks, Justin Timberlake, and then saying all this shit over Twitter, and then when the brother call out racism, white supremacy on BET, you gonna tweet, I feel so misunderstood. This shit ain't about you, man. Right. And that's the problem.
Always playing the victim, man. We can play the victim up.
Demi Lovato. DMX died. This bitch talking about I got some survivor's remorse or survivor's guilt. You know what? Bitch, kill yourself then. I wish somebody would Twitter, well, you can still kill yourself. Like, why you? Because for the most part, Nick, I feel like white folk in the dominant society will always make it about them. What you think?
That's for sure, man. Like I said, they always want to play the victim. They always want to go into victim mode, man. And when especially when the subject's not about them, because they're the center of attention. And when you're not the center of attention, man, you're gonna make it the center of attention.
Facts. Well, hey, man, that's our time. We went over by a minute. Shout out to Beverly McLeland, Shawnee, Erica. Man, shout out to my boy Milton from Canada. Shout out to him, man. I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. Nick, man, when we doing it again? Next Thursday? You probably be busy. Or next Saturday?
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. Hey, I'm gonna hit y'all back again tomorrow, so my black ass will be on again, man. We gotta do this, man. Saturday, Sunday, man. We gotta get this shit together,
Tuesday,
man.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we gotta get this shit popping, bro. Like Shawnee said, she thought this was a whole nother fucking podcast. Hey, man. Hey, if you're talking about you don't see color, guilty, nigga. I don't fuck with you. We out. Peace. Man, that was a good one, man.